Hi, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today we have a very large turntable. This is a big boy. It's a Taya. We got a model number on this. Huh, that's funny. No model number writing. This is direct drive servo platter Taya. Let's check the back. Taya. Model DP-500. This is a gigantic turntable. Absolutely massive. So, like I said, it's a direct drive. Looks like a semi-automatic. If I were to say right now, if I were going to guess, sorry, I would say that this is a CEC manufactured turntable. CEC manufactured turntables for a lot of companies. Marantz, Hitachi, Yamaha. They were a huge Japanese OEM manufacturer. So this one definitely looks like a CEC. Oh, Realistic as well. They did turntables for Realistic. But this one definitely looks like a CEC to me. I'm just going to remove the anti-skating weight, which is on a string. Well, it doesn't really want to come off. There we go. We'll set that up when we're done servicing this. There it is. It's just come in for a general service, so I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it. It has a Techniques head shell and a Stanton 680EL cartridge with the D6800EL stylus. And just looking at it with my bare eye here, my naked eye, I can see that the stylus is in good shape. So that's good. We'll take that off for servicing as well. Like I mentioned, it is a very large turntable. Very heavy as well. As far as the brand Taya, I believe that they were a division of Toshiba. And you probably saw them in like department stores or lower end stereo stores. But this brand disappeared. Anyway, I think we should give this thing a service. Let's start as we always do by removing the platter. And I'm just going to remove this motor plate. I'll take that off as well. We'll take off this motor plate and see what we're dealing with as far as a motor. If it has a plastic cover over the motor, it's definitely a CEC. Nicely built. It's plastic, but nice wood grain finish. Yeah, it's definitely screaming CEC. I believe if we remove these 3 screws now, we'll have access to the motor and we can actually go ahead and service the motor. Maybe not. Oh, yep. Just looks a little different. Spins very nice. It's probably never been lubricated since the 70s, but Wow, I don't think I've ever seen one like this before. This is all copper. That is a beautiful motor. Lovely. Lubricants don't smell stale. Mind my head, I'm just going to have a peek in here and see if we got a ball bearing. No ball bearing, but there's definitely a lot of lubricant in there. I'm almost hesitant to remove it. Let's just have a look at the condition. There's definitely a lot of oil in there. And like I said, it doesn't smell bad. It smells like electronic motor oil for sure. But given the age of the table, I think we will replace it. I'm just going to suck up as much as I can with the Q-tip first. I just worked on a Marantz, which I did not film, a 6300, and when I pulled up the motor on that one, it had no oil, and this one's absolutely dripping with it. Might be a case where we need to stick a paper towel in there. So this is one way of cleaning out the bearing well as well. You can throw down paper towel, just get it in there. This is before we use any alcohol. There's definitely a lot of oil in there. It's coming up though. It's starting to come up. That's about it. Okay. So now we can clean the well with some alcohol. Still coming out. Very nice bearing, solid brass. Do that again. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen that much oil in a bearing. At least not on an old table like this. Has it been serviced before? Maybe? So a little dab of alcohol on a cloth, and we're just going to wipe the spindle here. And that is it. So, I think for this table we're going to use a 30 weight. And I think we're going to definitely put in a little bit more than we did when we used the 30 weight on the last oil, or the last turntable we used it on, which I think was the dual. Let's just make sure this is dry. You don't want any alcohol in here. You need it to evaporate before you put fresh oil in. So the bearing has to be spotless, clean and dry before you put any oil. Okay, so here's our 30 weight non-detergent oil. I've spoken about this oil in the past. It's non-detergent. That means there's no additives as far as that you would use in a car engine. So you don't want any of that stuff in your bearing. All right, let's put some in there. And we're just going to see how our put a couple drops on here as well. We're going to see how this goes back in. If we put too much oil, it's going to not want to go down right away. And you can just see it gently dropping. As it drops, the hydraulic pressure is coming up, and then if there's too much, it'll seep out the top of the well. Oh, it's pretty nice, actually. There we go. Sitting flat. Very nice. And you can see if you put enough oil, like if you pull it back up, you'll feel it actually suck it back down. That's the hydraulic effect. Now it's sitting up a little bit here. That'll slowly work its way down. You can help it a little bit just by putting a little bit of pressure on it and just rocking it back and forth. You'll squeeze out the oil, and there we go. There, it's sitting flat. I think we're good right there. So I might have put half a teaspoon in there, I'm thinking. So I'm going to pull it out again. I just want to see what kind of, if I have good lubrication on the spindle. And I do. You can see oil on there, which is great. And there's a nice little puddle of oil at the bottom, so I'm pretty happy with that. So we're just going to put that back in. And you don't want to drop down now? Oh, there you go. Well, we'll let that work its way down. Next, we're going to want to, oh dear. Is that a speed magnet? That should not, for a moment there I thought that was a speed sensor, but it's just a magnet, and I'm not sure exactly what this is for, but there is a little bit of glue here. And I think what we'll do, that should be glued down, so maybe we'll just put a drop of crazy glue on there. Hey, get down there. We'll put a little drop of crazy glue on here. So it looks like that belongs glued down. There. Okay. Why don't you want, there we go. Okay, so let's put our cap back on. If it was sitting too high, it would be scraping against the bottom of this, but that's fine. Alright, so we got 3 little screws. I'm really impressed by the build quality of this turntable. It's very nice. If anything, I would say it's almost too big for its own good. It's really massive. I'm not sure how nice it would look unless it was sitting with a huge amplifier or vintage receiver. Maybe an old Toshiba SA, what was it, the 70, oh god, I can't remember, 7150? don't know if I like turntables with a power switch or not. I think I just prefer, you know, you wire. I like to wire up my turntable power-wise into the back of the amplifier, the receiver, to the switch outlet. That way, when you turn on your amp, you know, your receiver or your turntable runs, and when, you know, the receiver's off, if somebody just happens to move the arm, the platter's not going to move because there's no power, right? But I'm not sure how I feel about a power button on a turntable. Okay, so we're going to put the cover back on because we're going to turn this puppy upside down. And we got a million screws to deal with. So you know the drill. I'm going to pause and come back. Okay, welcome back. I have removed the screws on the bottom. I've also had to remove 2 feet. They just unscrew here. These are beautiful feet too. For height adjustment, so you can balance and level your turntable. Really heavy duty rubber in here with tons of thread, so the adjustment possibilities are incredible, actually. Really nice. So let's have a look. I'm hoping it'll slide out here. Yep. There we go. Welcome inside the Taya. Holy moly, look at the size of this transformer. Wow, this thing's no joke. This is a serious turntable. Huge filter capacitors here. Speed adjustment pots. I'm not going to touch those because it's got pots up top. That's going to be a bit difficult. The speed pots and all the switches are right here, but this foot is in the way, so I'm thinking we're probably going to have to remove this. To get access. There we go. Okay, now we have access to the pots there. I'm just looking how that's put together. Looks like you could probably remove that panel if you wanted. I don't think we're going to need to, but yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm going to pull these pots. You know what? I'm going to pull these pots up because it's so deep down there. Hopefully you can see that. Let's pull them up. They're on one plate, held down by 2 screws. This thing's clean inside too, just spotless. Will that come up? Oh, probably need to remove the knobs on this side. Oh, there we go. There's one. Come on, baby. That one does not want to come off. Wow. Let's try a little screwdriver. Well, that didn't sound very good, did it? No, it didn't sound very good. The cap came off. Holy mackerel. Is it glued on? Okay, time for a little more torque. These are the joys of vintage equipment. Here we go. There we go. Got it. This chrome cap came off, so we're just going to glue that back on. Unless it's got glue already. I don't think so. No. Alright, let's put a dab of crazy glue on that now. Just Just a little dab here. There. Okay, so we got our two knobs off. I'm hoping that these oh, you know what? That is actually one huge plate, so it looks like we're going to have to... What else are we going to have to do? Oh no, I think those buttons will come off. So we got 1, 2, out. What is in my finger? Okay. This is Rob the medical guy, not the turntable guy. Ow. That hurts. There we go. Oh, sucker was on my thumb. Oh. Anyway. Looks like one more. I'm going to be pretty annoyed if those buttons need to come up too. Come on up. There you go. Here we are. Perfect. Much easier to work on now. Okay, so here's our 33 and 45. I'm not sure which one's which, but they're both going to get a shot of Neutral. And we're just going to work those back and forth. Definitely a little tight. Here's an idea. Let's put these suckers that didn't want to have to come off, or want to come off there. It's easier without it. Well, they're definitely starting to turn a little bit easier now. So one of these is a power button, which is undoubtedly this one. This looks like a power cable here. Don't spray contact cleaner in a power switch. Okay? Just don't. Okay, and we'll hit our speed switch. Are there any access points here? Not a lot of access points on this one. Sometimes you'll see a little hole. There's one there. And if you get your nozzle pointed in the right direction, you can just give it a few bursts and it will get in there. Might as well do this one while we're at it. So just flow it in there and it'll go in. Let gravity work for you. Work that back and forth. And that is it. I'll put these back. Nice. Alright, so we have 4 screws to put back on and our feet. After that, the tone arm mount here, I don't know if you can see that or not. Look at that, it's ground, even the feet are grounded here, the grounds go everywhere, eh? Just really beautifully made. There's your wires. The wires are protected by shielding, and that goes out the back. This has RCA jacks on it, which is nice, so you can select your own RCA cables if you're into that cable kind of thing. So I'm impressed. Okay, so we'll put this foot back on here. You know, when I first looked at this, I said it was a semi-automatic. This is not a semi-automatic. There are absolutely no controls or gears of any type on the tone arm. This is a purely manual turntable. Alright. I think we can button it up. The size of this transformer, I keep saying that, but motor's nicely grounded. Huge transistor here. What is this? A 2SD198 Matsushita on this massive heatsink. There you go. And then your feet just screw back in. The threads are so fine. It's very easy to cross thread them. So there we go. I'm just going to screw them all the way down. When the owner gets it back home, he can adjust the level on his stereo stand. We'll just pause for the screw installation. Okay, screws are back in. We're just going to turn it back over. Being very gentle not to mar the lovely wood finish. Okay, and we just put our speed knobs back on. Pitch knobs, I should say. That's obviously the one that was giving me all the trouble. Alright. Well, I'm actually very interested to see how it works. It's got some really gnarly cables here. Not particularly pretty, but I bet you they're original. Okay, let's balance up our arm. You know what? Let's give our stylus a cleaning first. Just a tiny bit of alcohol. Sometimes it's just enough just to grab what's left over on the top of the bottle. That's more than enough. Back to front. Okay. Arm lift works well. Here's our anti-skate. I'm going to set up this stanchion for 2 grams of weight. So notch number 2 for now on the anti-skate as well. You want to do it digitally? Let's do it digitally. Way too heavy. That's exactly what the dial scale is saying as well, just a little over 2.4. That's a bit too heavy for this. Unless, I'm not sure exactly if this is a conical or elliptical stylus. I'm just going to set it at 2. I'll look up the specs later on Vinyl Engine, see what the recommended tracking force is for it. But 2 grams is a great place to start. Come on, one more. Come on, there we go, 2 grams. I don't know what the overhead spec is either, or the overhang spec for this. I'm going to assume it's correct. Again, I will check that out. And for this Technique style head shell here, actually it is an actual Technique's head shell. It's just a matter of loosening this one screw and pulling the cartridge back and forth. So, first thing, we'll turn on the receiver and see if we get any hum. No hum, that's a good sign. Power on. I didn't plug it in. How many times do I do that? There we go. Around 33. Wow, is this motor ever stable? There. 45. Control is a little bit touchy. Just work that neutral back and forth a little bit here. Okay. I'm getting some speed jump here. It's a bad switch. Just from sitting for a long time, I'm going to exercise the power switch and the 45 and 33 switches here. Definitely getting some motor noise. Wonder if we've got some. It is stable though. Once you dial it in, it's right on. It's just that if you put some pressure and some torque down on it, it's making a little bit of noise. Now that makes me wonder: do we have a bad capacitor? And it's not. There's very little torque. Well, I think what I'm going to do, and we can't leave it like this. because as soon as you're going to put some weight on it, I'm thinking, you know, as soon as I put a little bit of torque, you know, put the motor under torque, it hums. Makes a little bit of a grinding noise until it gets up to speed. I think I'm going to have a look at those capacitors and just do some electrical measurements, and we're going to just pause it right here. So it's actually the next day now. I've been, I did rack my brains a little bit on this one. I'm not going to say it's 100% because I do believe there is an actual problem with it. I did check all the capacitors. They all measured fine. I pulled them out of circuit and measured them, and they're all right on the money. So one of the things I did notice is when I do stop the turntable, you can hear that humming. It's actually the transformer humming. And I'm not sure if the transformer's getting weak, it's starting to die or whatever. All I can say is that speed is stable. It's playing correctly. When I do switch to 45, 45 is twitchy, but it also, you can hear, like when you turn the speed pots for the pitch here, the transformer physically not vibrates, but it just it moves a little bit, right? So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm really not, and I'm not going to dig too deep into it. You know, the owner doesn't want to spend any money on this. There's no parts available. Good luck. If it is a transformer, good luck finding one. You know, it is playing. It's holding speed. The platter is silent. Sound quality is good. Distracted by the women with the dimple. So I'm not sure what to say. It's a beautiful looking turntable. I've cleaned it up. Just gave the wood a nice cleaning. Cleaned all the silver parts. You know, shine up the arm for them. Set speed, or set tracking force. Set the anti-skate weight. The middle notch here. Set it for 2 grams. I think this Stanton cartridge actually tracks a little heavier. It tracks, I think it starts at 2.5. I'm just going to leave it at 2. It sounds fine. And people really, you know, unless you're a DJ, I don't see why you need to be tracking any higher than that. Like I said, this head shell here, although it's branded Empire, it's probably as close of a look as you're going to get to the original Taya. I went online and I had a peek at what these things looked like originally, and it definitely had this style of head shell. So I switched that out so it looks a little nicer. But I mean, I'm going to leave this here. You know, do I think it's repaired? I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's something genuinely wrong with it. I mean, that if I put my hand underneath here, the transformer is humming. You can feel it vibrating. I let go, it quiets down. Could it be that this thing was just sitting for so long, it's just starting to come back to life? I'm not sure. I'm really not. But I'm going to leave it right here. Hopefully you found this one interesting. I know it's not the conclusion that everyone wants to see. Everybody wants to see a repair done, fixed, and out the door. But I'm going to say this one is as close as we can get. So anyway, I want to thank you for tuning in again. Be sure to check out the next video when it comes out. And thanks for watching, Turntable Guy. Bye-bye.